Hello, YouTube! Welcome! I'm Random, and I'm a Star Trek fan. It's been about 20 minutes since my last episode, and today I'm diving back into more Star Trek Discovery. Normally I do gaming live streams on the channel, but Discovery is really something I wanted to talk about. So thanks again so much to everyone for being super supportive of all the additional content. Today, we're talking about episode 4, The Butcher's Knife Cares Not for the Lamb's Cry, or as I like to call it, some writer just got out of college and thinks pretentious titles are deep. Ish. I don't know. It's another title I had to go and look up, and just not feeling it, Discovery. Oh boy. So, today our episode opens with a nice pixely CG mess of blue and lightning. Could it be a space anomaly? A nebula? Something to discover or explore? Nope, it's just a shot of Michael Burnham's uniform getting synthesized. Nice fake out, Discovery. Get our hopes up that they might do a little exploring and discovering. You know, maybe seek out some new life or new civilizations. But nope, just a CG shitstorm of a uniform being made. Way to disappoint there, STD. Nice. But hello, package! So Tilly explains that she picked this up from Michael Burnham since Michael was in the shower. I still don't like calling our main character Michael. It really feels odd and distracting, but anyway, Michael finds out it's her old captain's last will and testament. She freaks out and shoves it under the bed, promptly ignoring it until it's convenient for the plot. Because that's the kind of show we got. So, Sarah's upset that he wasn't informed that Burnham's joining the crew. Yeah, he's kind of an interesting alien here. He has ganglia that react there on the back of his neck as a warning of danger. So it is kind of cool that his reaction to her, or that's his reaction to her not being on the prison ship. By the way, we never see those prisoners again from a couple episodes ago, if you remember them. They were just there for, in the prior episode for exposition. That's kind of how Discovery is. So it's kind of interesting that they're running some practice drills here to fight the Klingons, but mostly everyone on the bridge is basically just a bunch of extras reciting some generic firing phasers dialogue and stuff, you know. Now, we are on a science ship, and sure, we're in wartime, but this isn't a warship. It has a magic mushroom drive that lets them jump anywhere pretty much in an instant, but it's not a battleship. I think it's good that they kind of know how to fight, but it's so not Starfleet to me. It's just a little off-putting. Starfleet would try to resolve things without fighting, or with fighting as little as possible, not going and doing like battle drills and things. But while the rest of the bridge extras are off killing make-believe Klingons, Lorca takes Burnham on a tour of his man cave filled with some of the deadliest weapons in the galaxy. Yay, like bat'leths you can accidentally stab yourself with. And, of course, the monster that can rip Klingons to shreds. Lorca basically wants Burnham to study it and find a way to weaponize it. Since she is the best at everything, seriously, she knows math, engineering, equations, she can fight, she knows all sciences and biology. She's pretty much too good at everything to be interesting. For a character to be interesting, they need to be believable. Sure, she's an absolute spoiled brat and a know-it-all character, and that's a huge flaw, but it doesn't generally make her interesting. Hell, she isn't even written to be a know-it-all. That's just kind of how she comes across. It's like they genuinely believe they're making an interesting character and can't see that the spoiled brat crap is kind of a side effect of the personality. I'm sure they never intended her to come across as like the spoiled brat know-it-all, but hey, whatever. Blame directing, probably. Blame writing. Whatever. Who cares? Lord. Meanwhile, back in the binary star system, which we established to be in the Federation space, right? So this is Federation territory. We see that the Klingons were very busy duct taping their ship together. That can only be what that is, you know? And sure, it is the handyman's secret weapon, but whatever. Why did they duct tape the ship back together? I'm sure there's probably some explanation like, no, they just used salvage stuff and they didn't paint it. It's duct tape. We find out these idiots are sitting there in Federation space for 6 months, starving, not getting finished off by Starfleet for 6 months. And they're just sitting there, duct taping their ship back together. I have no idea if the subtitles are going to show up on this. They're kind of tiny, and we do have a lot of, like, glowy stuff in the background. But the albino flat out says they've been sitting there for 6 months. The Shenzhou is within range for them to go and salvage. Now, why hasn't Starfleet gone and salvaged the Shenzhou? And in this scene here, Vok says it would be blasphemy to fuse the Shenzhou's intact dilithium processing stuff into the Klingons. Okay, so that establishes Starfleet did not salvage. Starfleet didn't go get anything. A few problems here. First, the fact that Starfleet even left the ship unsalvaged. In Federation territory for 6 months next to a disabled Klingon ship. For 6 months. A ship with cloaking technology. Never mind that cloaks shouldn't even exist in Star Trek yet, and the Klingons shouldn't have it at this point, and you know. Oh, and the female Klingon L'Rell points out that Vok wasn't outraged when they ate the captain of the Shenzhou. Oh, I do not have words to describe how much I hate everything in this scene. I don't know how else to describe it, how else to break it down. But just to stress the fact that, yeah, they did... They have been eating, like, Starfleet people that have been either floating around. They have been salvaging. The Klingons have been grabbing crap off of the ship. And, yeah, you know, yes, the captain was, like, right there and died on their bridge. But seriously, why couldn't have they beamed the captain away when, you know, Michael Burnham was standing right next to her dead body? Why didn't they just beam her away? Why didn't Michael Burnham say, hey, I'm right next to this dead person, beam us both up? No, they can't do that. They can't lock onto her communicator. They can't lock onto her badge. You know, sure, the badge isn't a comm badge at this point in Star Trek history, but surely they would know to look for, like, Federation alloys and the uniform or something. Heck, freaking Stargate has, like, a dermal implantation thing that they can lock onto and beam them out of. Oh, boy. This show. This show. Ooh. So, Lorca wants the totally Starfleet security officer to lend a hand in weaponizing the Monstie. You remember the security officer who basically called Michael Burnham and all the other prisoners trash? Yeah, her. Totally Starfleet. Love her so much. So, anyway, Burnham doesn't think it's a monster and wants to study it, so conflict for the sake of conflict. Because we have to be dark and edgy, and we have to have differing opinions, and we have to have tension on the ship, you know? For the sake of drama, I guess, because Game of Thrones did it, and we're trying to be Game of Thrones in space. Whew. So, now we go to this Admiral Star Warsing in to assign the ship to spore jump over and protect some mining colony. I guess they're getting exploded by the Klingons, and so Lorca says, sure. Yeah, we don't have holograms like this. Yeah, I gotta take a second to, like, calm down on this. This is what I'm doing. I'm just exhaling. So Lorca says yes, but Stamets says no, we can't get the spore drive thingy to work, because, remember the Glen? Me neither, but they had some sciencey stuff that sort of worked, but not. But Stamets, I guess, is gonna try to get the ship going. Ooh, then there's this guy. I just can't be arsed to care about these Klingons. I guess he's from some other house. He wants to lead Takuma's house and take over the duct tape ship. I just don't care. Oh, yeah, Vok says they salvaged the Federation ships, but they didn't grab the dilithium thingy to make it go. Why? Why did they salvage? Why were they allowed to salvage? But the Klingons are starving after eating the captain. Did they not eat anyone else? I mean, I was kind of under the impression they did. Why did they just eat the captain and not beam other people? I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. Star Trek, I don't get you. of course, after Discovery jumps, or tries to, they try to, even though Stamets is like, no, we can't do it. The Monty flips the crap out when the drive's engaged. Coincidence? Oh, boy. And the Discovery can't quite make the precise enough jump to get to the colony, narrowing, avoiding this giant death ball. You know, it's too bad they weren't just a little bit closer. Then we'd have a nice series finale right here. But nope, Star Trek hates me, so the show must go on, I guess. And Stamets, of course, gets hurt in the ship malfunctiony thing. And we meet the Doctor! Yay! He's not a main character or anything like Bones or Dr. Crusher, because this is the Michael Burnham show after all, and don't you forget it. But man, I like this guy. I like him a lot. I remember this actor, Wilson Cruz, being on My So-Called Life when I was a teenager. I liked him then, and I still like him now. Now, as this aired, there were all these reports of Discovery having like a gay couple on the show, and everyone speculated that it was the Doctor and Stamets. And I'm glad to see that we were all correct. But because I do like him, and I like any chance that we get to have like people acting like people on this show. And between the Doctor and Stamets, their interactions, they actually act like people, which is pretty difficult in the Michael Burnham show, you know. Oh boy. You know, and I do like the fact that we have any couple at all on a Star Trek series. I think it's kind of an interesting aspect, and I think that if they embraced some of the new concepts a little bit more, instead of trying to be edgy and dramatic just for the sake of it and having conflict just to have conflict, then I think that's where the show's really going to shine. And those are always the aspects I like about this. And I will complain a little bit about Star Trek making a huge deal out of this couple. It seemed a little cheap, like they were trying a little too hard to get the LGBT community to kind of be interested in this. You know, it's the future, and I'd like to think that we all just treat same-gender couples like we treat any other couple. But, you know, it's the dark and edgy Star Trek, so of course we gotta make a big deal out of it. And of course, so Stamets doesn't want to try jumping again because the ship isn't working that well, but Lorca plays the distress call from that colony over the intercom to guilt everyone into getting into trying to get there. And now we're back with the Monstie. So Security Star Galactica here decides she's going to get results now as to like how this monster can tear Klingons to shreds. She's going to go in, sedate it, and cut off its claw. Burnham has pointed out to her that gas doesn't work on it, and that if it feels threatened, it will attack. So nothing bad will happen, right? Ew, it's not like she needs those innards anyway, huh? Just a flesh wound. She'll be fine, right? You know, or not. Or not. So I really, really need to go into this character. I like Rika Sharma a lot as an actress. She's even been on Star Trek Continues. This character, though, oh my god. She's so stupid as this character. And you know, she's playing it fine. She's playing an idiot, hothead security officer just fine. It's nothing wrong with the acting. But seriously, what Starfleet cadet even would go in to cut off the claw of any animal? Especially after being warned that gas doesn't work. And attacking it will only make it attack. She's so stupid. She's dead, and I'm glad. Holy crap, what kind of Starfleet officer does this? If you were to tell me that she's from the Mirror Universe, sure. Character, you know, this character provided further speculation about the show just flat out being in the Mirror Universe. Like, she just totally fits in there. I'm recording this just after the whole Lorca reveal on episode 12, and I really haven't watched the previews for 13, but if we find out that this chick came over from the Mirror Universe, I would totally believe it. If it's not the case, then she's shit. The show's shit. Meanwhile, back at the unsalvaged Shenzhou that's kind of only been salvaged a little bit by Klingons, but, you know, open to space. And I gotta nail it home again. It's sitting in Federation space next to a Klingon ship with flipping cloaking technology. And we see that it was pretty badly damaged, just like they made a point to show us the ship was abandoned quickly here. Because here we see our lovely Vok going through stuff that people left behind. I'm making a point to showcase this because it will come up again today in this episode. Like seriously, I totally get that they would just run to the escape pods. Absolutely. I get that they didn't have time to go back for things. They clearly didn't send anyone to salvage the ship. They've kind of established that many, many times. Because if they did, the Federation might have noticed a bunch of idiot space orcs nearby duct taping their ship back together. Fascinating. No, you didn't. So, I had to take a screenshot of this. There was a whole bunch of dialogue between Michael Burnham and Saru, and the one line that stood out was, she's like, fascinating. You're not Spock. You don't get to use that word. I don't even care one bit about what else is going on in the scene. But not Spock is so damn annoying. I just don't care anymore. But I guess there's something about the Monsties connected with the spore. You're not Spock! Stop it! Oh, so of course not Spock here figures out all the super secret stuff from the Glen. Like they're using the Monstie to interface with the magic mushrooms. And I just said that. I just said that they're using a Monstie to interface with the magic mushrooms. Or interfere with, whatever. This is Star Trek now. This is Star Trek now. Monsters interfering and interfacing or whatever. This makes my brain hurt. This is so bad. I can't even think anymore. This is so bad. The tardigrade is connected to the magic mushrooms to make the ship go. Instead of warping technology, instead of... It's making me funny in the head, this episode. This is really where the show became unsalvageable, I think. I don't know. I'm mad with laughter. I don't get it. I don't get it. So this is Star Trek now. So here we have like this line drop of, hey, this might be our new navigator about the little tardigrade monstie, right? I have to point out that in an original incarnation of Discovery, before all the rewrites and stuff, that the CG blob monstie tardigrade guy was supposed to be a bridge officer. You know, and he can talk to shrooms. Best character ever. Oh, Lord. Isn't he cute, though? But yeah, he can talk to the little shrooms. You know, not like you can really see much because it is just a little CG blob monster, but he's in there somewhere. It was really hard to find a good shot of that. He's actually kind of cute. Oh, God, these people. So while Vok and I guess L'Rell were over there salvaging the Shenzhou, because she appeared, and I totally didn't screen grab it, but that L'Rell Klingon chick was over there, too. They were grabbing the dilithium, whatever, to make the ship go. The dilithium processing, I don't even care anymore. So this face-painting Klingon comes over to the rescue of the starving crew members. Now, this is the most Klingon I've ever seen these idiots actually behaving. This is the most Klingon these guys ever get. They're being jovial, they're celebrating, they're eating gross food, they're eating giant worms, hell, they're probably even drinking blood wine. And of course, Vok objects to all that. And Vok and Mr. Facepaint Guy get into this pissing contest over, you know, I want to lead the ship. No, I want to lead the ship. You know, but L'Rell chooses food and face paint dude over her albino buddy / lover, I guess. So she suggests dumping Vok into the Shenzhou instead of just executing him. You know, even though Klingons would most likely just have a battle to the death if they were real Klingons, but what do I know? And so our wonderfully Starfleet crew, the Discovery, beam this monstie that they're calling a tardigrade into a booth in engineering so it can interact with the spores. He knows all the star charts and can interact perfectly and navigate everywhere. And And he's sentient, but not. Whatever. Whatever. He's cute. I'll give him that. Oh, and remember that this colony? Me neither, but we can now spore over to the colony that should really be dead by now and go save them, right? Oh, and these are supposed to be Klingon ships that you can barely see in all this mess of blue, which I really hate because I do have some colorblind issues and it's really hard to see anything in this show. Oh. Yeah, and I need to point out, I did nothing to the shot. This is just how the show looks. But it's impossible to get a good look at anything between the shaky cam, lens flares, and the split-second editing. But apparently Discovery spored in, because that's the thing now, and blew up those couple of Klingon ships. So, Vok and Laurel are on the Shenzhou now, saying their goodbyes. She had to sneak over and tell him, basically, there's a way to help you win the war and give you honor and blah, who cares. She's gonna send him to some matriarchs in some Klingon house she's a part of. I guess one parent was part of this one house and one other parent of hers was part of Takuma's house. Remember that guy, the big ugly one who died in the first episode? Yeah, I don't either. But yeah, so she gets them to the matriarchs to do things to him. You know, he has to make a sacrifice, aka huge setup for later. It's like this show is just sort of they're giving hints to anybody who would actually pay attention about what's coming. But they're kind of counting on people being on their cell phones texting or something the whole time they're watching this because, you know, oh my god, it's a big reveal. No, it's not. It's not. Stop it. It's not a big reveal. So we see that not Spock here is concerned about the tardigrade Monstie. He apparently gets hurt every time that he uses the interface thingy to navigate. And of course, not Spock here is convinced by Tilly to open up the box containing her old captain's will. It contains a touching Star Wars holo letter that was clearly recorded pretty close to the captain's death by the looks of it. You know, I can forgive that because it's a TV show, and they really wouldn't have the time to make the captain look, you know, a few years younger or change her hair a little, so, you know, so it wouldn't look so recorded like the day before she died, but... But we also learned that there's an item left by the captain for not Spock. It's an item that's been handed down for generations. And this item's super important because she views not Spock as a daughter, as a friend, as, you know, somebody she's kind of can become family with. That's why she's leaving this super important item. Close in on the biggest plot hole I've ever seen in my life. Plot hole big enough to fly a starship through. So we find a telescope. It's the very same telescope that they used to look through at the Battle of the Binary Stars. Remember? The one they used instead of launching a freaking probe. This is the writers thinking that they're being clever by setting up a callback to this prop. Here's the thing, though. When did anyone go back for the damn thing? They spent the entire episode saying that no one went over to salvage the Shenzhou except for these Klingons who are duct taping their ship back together, right? They've been saying that the Klingons are sitting there in Federation space for 6 months in a ship with cloaking technology that was disabled so badly they couldn't go anywhere and they were starving. They even made a point to say that the Klingons were salvaging bits, but not salvaging the bit that would, like, actually help them leave so they wouldn't starve. And until just now, because it's convenient for the plot. Make up your mind, Discovery. Do you really think that no one would notice this? Do you really think that you're so smart to set up that telescope for people to remember but not realize we would notice all the other things that don't make sense? It's like the writers are a bunch of idiots trying to sound like they're brilliant. I don't get it. It reminds me of Birdemic level bad writing. You know, there's a line at the end of Birdemic. I was really trying to get the exact quote. I just couldn't find a clip of it, and I couldn't be arsed to go and find a DVD of it. But in Birdemic, towards the end, Rob and Natalie are standing there on the ocean. He's looking out the ocean like, gee, all life comes from the ocean. It's like we're all connected or something. And something so insanely, stupidly profound that only an idiot would find profound. That is kind of the level of writing of this series. It's like they took the writer of Birdemic and said, here, make Star Trek. You're not smart, you're not funny. It's not clever. I don't know how else to describe this. But in case anyone missed it, I really, really, really hate this episode. Words cannot describe how much I hate this episode. But thank you so much anyway for indulging my ranting and my complaining, and if you're watching this, I'm so sorry for watching Discovery along with me. But thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing, and come hang out on the live streams where I game. I'm going to try and cover this whole season if I can manage to get through. I think this is probably the worst episode I've seen ever of anything. But yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Bye!